Good evening.
What's up, dog? Do you disagree with the topic on the board?
Yeah, I do still support Trump. I wouldn't say I support him in everything. There's things that he does that I'm not a big fan of, but
What do you
can't really.
support him in specifically?
I'm a fan of his economic policies,
Which economic policies?
the tariffs and tax cuts.
You're a fan of the tariffs? What did the tariffs do for us last time?
I wouldn't say he was harsh enough on tariffs last time. They didn't really do much. There wasn't much there. He really only tariffed China.
Uh-huh. And what happened when he tariffed China?
Nothing really. I mean, they just put more tariffs on us.
Nothing really? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, nothing really.
How many jobs did we lose?
I don't think we lost much. We had
250,000. The China tariffs were directly responsible for 250,000 lost jobs.
but there was also 800,000 that he created.
What, doing what specifically?
Let's say that high, but he created more jobs than he lost.
How so? Because that's not what we see when we look at his job numbers.
When we see his
What
job numbers,
policies specifically did he put through that show that he created more jobs than he lost?
I mean, probably the tax cuts, his tax cuts.
The tax cuts didn't lead to any job growth. So, do you have another one?
Yeah, I can't name policies, but he clearly had job growth.
He clearly had job growth, but you can't name the policies that he passed to create jobs.
Yeah, policies don't always create jobs.
Yes, well, yes, job policies do.
If I go and open a business and hire people, that has nothing to do with Trump's policies.
How does the how do the business how does he get credit for businesses hiring people?
I have no idea.
Okay, so he
I
would
don't
have to do
know.
something in order for me to attribute job growth to his policy or to his administration, correct?
It would just be a total of economic policies.
So we're just saying because jobs were created while Trump was in office, therefore Trump good.
Under his economic policies, yes.
What policies
Uh, I'm a fan of the tax cuts that he puts in place.
didn't lead to job growth?
Okay.
So which ones under his economic policies led to job growth?
I don't know. I don't know which policies he put in that led to job growth.
I'll tell you which ones he put in that led to job growth. None of them. Job creation didn't see a significant spike under his presidency. It just maintained the solid growth line it was on during Obama's presidency. There was no significant jump.
Yeah, then how is there any job growth attributed to him at all?
From Trump, there
Yeah.
isn't. That's what we're talking about right now. He didn't pass any policies that led to a significant in job growth
No, but we had a good economy under him.
because we were not plateauing. We were continuing the upward trend via Obama's economy. There was no significant spike via anything Trump did
Uh, I mean, I don't know why there would need to be a significant spike.
because otherwise he didn't do anything. Him just being in office while there's a good economy doesn't tell me he created that economy. It says he did nothing and the economy maintained what its upward projections from the previous administration.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a fan of his tariff policies. I wasn't like
Okay, but why? What did the tariffs accomplish? That's what I asked.
I, I mean his new tariff policies.
What are these ones accomplishing?
What they're accomplishing is evening out the playing field.
What playing field needs to be evened?
Free trade. The trade playing field across the
I'm
globe.
sorry, putting in tariffs leads to more free trade?
Yeah, when countries have them on us, why shouldn't we have them on? Why shouldn't we put them back?
What is free trade?
The free trade would mean no tariffs from any country, but other countries have them on us. So why shouldn't
So Donald Trump is good for free trade because he restricted free trade more.
no? Other countries have tariffs on us, so why should
We have tariffs on other countries. Can you tell me which tariffs you disagree with that are levied on the United States,
all of them,
such as
such as any tariffs on vehicles, such as any tariffs on food,
What
Pay tariff.
what tariffs? What vehicles in the United States are tariffed?
No, we have to pay tariffs on importing vehicles.
If we have to pay tariffs on importing vehicles, that would mean that we placed the tariff, Bren. Do you know how tariffs work?
No,
Tariffs are on imports, not exports.
I just said that. But
So you're
we
so
don't
you're
tell
mad
the
at wait, you just said the tariffs you disagreed with are the tariffs on the vehicles that we pay when we import them. This would mean you're mad at Donald Trump because he's the one who put those tariffs in place.
no, the tariff is paid when you purchase something.
Who's it paid by?
The people buying.
So if you're upset about an import tariff, that means you're upset about a tariff that we pay when we buy something.
Why would we set up a
Which
tariff?
country sets import tariffs? The like let's say it's the United States and China, and the United States is importing goods. Who set up the tariff for the United States to pay on the imported goods from China?
It would have been China.
It would have been the United States because only the importing country puts the tariffs through. So you agree with his tariff plan, but you don't know what a tariff is or how a tariff works. Would you
So
like a
when we
visual aid? I can give you a visual aid.
I need a visual aid because
Right,
I'm confusing myself. I guess I don't know.
right. Hold on. Let me give you a visual aid. Okay. Take a look at this here. Okay. Here, hold on. We're gonna flip the screen, chat. We're gonna flip the screen. And let me just really quickly chat, take off the thing. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
This is kind of how tariffs work, okay? So the cost of a US made good, $14. Cost of a foreign made good is $12. So what'll happen is countries are the United States will buy from outside of the United States because it's cheaper. Now the USA, in order to combat, but it doesn't work, they'll put, let's say, a 25% tariff on an imported shirt. So now the cost of this shirt is no longer $12, it's $15.
Yeah,
So
but who's paying that? Is China? So let's say
this
if we're
the person who imports the good is paying a country, the United States, will put a tariff on another country, making anything imported from that country cost more to the importer, not the exporter. China still
well, hold on.
sells the shirt for the same amount, but the
Well, do
United
you
States
mean
charges a tax on the person importing it.
do you just mean the consumer is the one paying the tax, or is it
The
the
price is passed on to the consumer. So
yeah?
instead of Nike paying $15 to for the shirt, they'll fly it in, but the shirt will go from costing $14 in the United States to costing 15, 16, or $17 to make up the cost. They're paying it, they pass that buck on to the consumer. China never pays the tariff.
I fully understand that. However, um, China does pay that because they would be paying us when they buy goods from us. That's the point of us putting the tariffs on them.
Okay. So now, no, when we put a tariff on China, China does not pay any tariffs, anything to us. That's not how that works. Anything to us. That's not how that works.
Pretty sure that's how it works.
You can say this, and I'm pretty sure the sky is made of marshmallow fluff.
Well, if China
That
puts a
doesn't make it
65,
so.
so when China puts a 65% tariff on American goods, China's
That
paying
means that Chinese companies pay the Chinese government a 65% tax when they import goods from America.
uh, yeah, I don't I that just does not that doesn't make any
That is
logical.
how tariffs works, sweet summer child.
That
Tariffs are
doesn't
paid by the importer, not the exporter. So China can put tariffs on China and make China pay an import tax, and we will put tariffs on ourselves and make us pay an import tax, but we cannot levy a tax on another country.
No, that's
That's not how that
exactly what tariffs
works.
are doing. Tariffs
No,
are
it
levying
doesn't.
on another country, dude.
No,
That's
they are not.
I
You have
learned
a
this.
fundamental misunderstanding of how tariffs work.
Uh, we're taught this in high school, in middle
You
school.
clearly did not. You must have gone to like wherever the high school was in High School Musical, and you must have missed out on the musical tariff song class because this is you don't know how tariffs work. I'll read you directly from the internet. A tariff is a tax imposed by the government of a country on imports.
Yes, I'm
So how
aware.
does China? Okay,
The school aid
when
was
Donald Trump says, "I'm going to put a 10% tariff on China," what do you think that means?
that means that those businesses in China that are importing goods into the U.S.
Already wrong. Already wrong. First
Yeah,
of all, what you just described would be called exporting, not importing. What it means is that American companies that want to import goods from China have to pay a 10% tax.
what? Why would any country do
This
that?
is
Can you tell me why
this
any country would do that ever?
it's almost like you've gotten to the problem of why we don't like broad sweeping tariffs.
Yeah, that to me just sounds like no country should ever do that. And I
Welcome to Economics 101. Why tariffs? Now, targeted tariffs can be okay. Also, if you look on the screen, my dear friend Katie has put up who pays the tariff, and it's the importer.
yeah,
Targeted tariffs can be
I
helpful.
like I understand that the consumer pays tariffs and all this stuff, right? Um, but like I genuinely don't understand how any country ever in the history of the world would do this.
There's a few reasons. Targeted tariffs are a good thing sometimes because targeted tariffs can help onshore businessing. It can help. There could be national security issues. For instance, we tariffed the shit out of Russia when Russia attacked Ukraine because we didn't want people buying Russian goods. So we
It
said it's
didn't
going to
work.
be really expensive for you to buy Russian goods so that Russia loses money.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I understand a little bit better. I understand a
So
little bit better
I'm
now.
going to ask
Okay.
this question again.
Thank you.
Why do
It
you like
clicked.
Donald Trump?
It clicked in my head.
There we
The
go.
tariffs can still be good.
Targeted tariffs, broad sweeping tariffs are almost never good.
I would
In
argue
fact, I
that
can't name a time in history where broad sweeping tariffs, where you just tariff a country directly at whatever percent, works.
I would understand the argument, and I do understand the argument, but I would make the argument that what Trump is using the tariffs for is working.
Oh,
He's so what he's doing is he's trying to get what he wants out of these countries by levying.
but what has he
By,
gotten out of the countries?
well, I mean, he already got them to comply with certain issues like
No, he didn't.
deportation. Yes, he has.
No, we can look at directly what happened. Canada, he threatened Canada with a tariff. Canada said, okay, we'll crack down this way at the border. Canada already said they were going to do that back in December.
Only after
They no,
tariff.
they already nope. They had
I
already had this
understand.
plan.
I know they said they were going to do it. They didn't do it until after the tariff thing
They
happened.
announced it back in December. These things take time. It hasn't. It
But
was
that's not.
January when Trump was going to tariff, or February when Trump was going to tariff them. They already said that they were going to do it. Mexico said, "Well, we're going to send more National Guards to the border." They already promised that they were going to send more National Guards to the border. None of them conceded anything. They just retold Trump what they already planned to do.
Well, he just got them to do it faster.
They didn't do it faster. They did it in the same timeline they were going to do it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would just argue that these would be the other reason that I think they're a good idea, at least, and why I'm in favor of them, is to bring more business to just general American made goods.
But
and
we know
import.
that this doesn't happen. You know how we know this doesn't happen? Because we didn't see any large jump in American manufacturing via his last trade war with China. There was no significant jump in US manufacturing. In fact, we lost manufacturing jobs, 250,000 of them, when he tariffed China the first time. Do you know why we lost those jobs? Because China said, okay, well, then we're going to get rid of our factories in the US because
Yeah,
China has factories over here. So a
yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
those closed and a bunch of people lost their jobs.
I
Not to mention how he destroyed farms in the United States because he started a trade war with China and they hit back agriculturally.
I understand that doing it with China, but most people are like, even most people are fine with him doing it against China. People
Because they
only.
don't know, because here's why most people are fine with it. Because, like you, they don't know what tariffs are. They
I
believed Trump
understand.
when Trump said, no, the tariffs are good without ever looking into how tariffs work, what the outcome of his original tariffs were. This is why people support tariffs.
I understand them now, and I don't think that there was any significant outcome from the first tariffs that could have
There was
been.
significant outcome.
No,
We
I don't.
we lost, what was it? Almost 40% of legacy farms were sold to big businesses, meaning independent farmers lost their farms because he started a trade war with China. He had to bail farmers out $63 billion because he
Right.
screwed over farmers.
That was one negative that happened due to him going into this long term.
A friend, a friend. Farms. What do they make?
They make food and
So
crops.
let's just remember something. Trump levied tariffs on China, destroyed American farms, and then what got really expensive? What thing got really expensive after
Food.
Trump left office? Food. So
I
it's
know.
almost like a domino effect when a person who doesn't know how the economy works implements economic policies that destroy tons of things in the United States.
That that's one tariff policy.
His one tariff policy led to grocery inflation.
Yeah, but any tariff policy is going to lead to the increased price of goods.
Raw targeted tariffs are okay in moderation for certain things. He doesn't do targeted tariffs. Trump does
No.
broad sweeping tariff,
Yeah, a broad sweeping tariff would be fine. I would argue against Canada, it's fine. It's just hitting them back.
hitting them back for what? They're our
Tariff.
largest trade partner.
They have tariffs on us. Their tariffs
What
are.
specific tariffs does Canada have on us?
They have a 25% tariff on vehicles. They have a 250% dairy
Oh,
tariff.
targeted tariff. Okay, a
I just
targeted
said they
tariff.
were all. I just said they were all targeted. I know they're all targeted.
Okay, so you
Just
think the way to hit back against a targeted tariff is with a broad sweeping tariff?
no, it would be to do a reciprocal targeted tariff on the exact
He
same
doesn't
thing.
want to do a reciprocal targeted tariff. He wants a broad sweeping tariff. Also, we could tariff Canada on automotive. It won't really do anything. They don't make they don't make a bunch of cars in Canada. Canada's not known for its automotive industry.
I I know, but I
So what would
just
be the point of that retaliatory tariff? They don't do these things.
that's why you do it broad sweeping
So
to
let's
get
just
them.
confirm what we've done today. You've
I know
agreed broad sweeping tariffs are bad, but now you're saying we should do broad sweeping tariffs.
what's going to happen is either Canada is going to drop the tariffs they have on us, and we'll
They
drop the
didn't.
tariffs we have.
They didn't.
No, it's going to go back and forth a couple times before it happens, or we're just going to end up being stuck with higher prices, which I don't think
We're
will
just going to
happen
end up being stuck with higher. Well, we were stuck with higher prices last time. Why do you think this time will be different?
because Canada is far. Canada has a large stake on tariffs. Uh,
What does
I
that
don't
mean?
know properly. Uh, Canada requires the tariffs a lot more than the U.S. does.
Based on what?
GDP.
What does that mean?
Okay. Canada's GDP, 18% of it is through tariffs. America
Okay.
that high. America has like a 2% GDP based off tariffs.
Again, what does also that's not true. Canada's you read this are you Googling right now? Because you read this wrong.
I didn't Google it now.
Are you sure? Because you read it wrong. What makes up 18% of Canada's GDP is exports to the United States, not imports.
You're right. I did read it wrong. That's what I meant.
Are you like, if you're gonna, I'm fine with you Googling during the debate, but
I
like,
didn't Google it now.
read
This
it
is something I looked
correctly.
at. I looked at this like a week ago. Okay, I just remembered it
Okay.
wrong. It was like a week ago. Because if I close out a TikTok, you won't be able to hear me talking about it. I don't have a computer with me. Um, yeah, that's what I meant. So therefore, they require America a lot more than America
You
requires.
notice, okay, you're doing something here that's really interesting. You were like, the reason it's important is because of how much Canada imports from us. So therefore it's important. And then I go, well, it's actually that they're exporting for us. And then you go, well, it's important because of the exports. You're just trying to fit whatever you say to match your argument.
Well, if they're
Why would you?
selling, well, I just meant it. I was just misspeaking. I just misremembered. Okay, if they're exporting to America and America's giving them 18% of their GDP, that means they require us to buy their goods. If we do the reciprocal tariff thing and we stop buying their goods, then they
They'd
just
only have
won't.
to come up with 18% of their GDP from other trading partners in the globe.
That's a huge amount of money.
18% of their GDP, it's not that hard to come up with 18% of your GDP from another trading partner.
It's almost a fifth. Like,
Uh-huh.
if you put it in different numbers, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, I know you want to say it's a fifth to make it sound bigger. It's 18%. They can get that 18% from other trading partners.
Are other trading partners going to buy the stuff from them?
It's not about, oh, what other people buy. Yeah, probably.
Why aren't they now then?
What do you mean, why aren't they now? Because we're next door. So it's just easier for them to knock on our door. And because US companies want to buy these products.
Yeah, because we don't have the industry here. It's like locked to
What
Canada.
industry don't we have here?
We have like we don't have a lumber industry here
Yes, we
or a
do.
steel.
Yes, we do.
It's not. It is not substantial at all.
It's not
Like
substantial.
these
How much
industries,
how much steel, how much of the US's steel do we get from our own markets?
almost none of it. We import
Almost
most.
none of it.
We import most of it.
Are you 100% sure about that?
I'm pretty positive. I
Hmm.
wouldn't say 100%. I wouldn't.
We're just FYI, we're the fourth largest steel producing country in the world. We
We
produce
were
80 metric tons of steel a year.
we were number one 20 years ago, but a lot of it
And
has moved away because it's cheaper.
you think that we've moved away because it's cheaper.
Yes. Same with cars.
Interesting.
We import most of the stuff for cars here. We
Hmm.
import most of our cars here. Lumber. There's not a major lumber industry here. Like a lot of these industries are just like going away.
Well, the steel industry is not.
Yeah, it clearly has gotten worse
It's clearly gotten worse based on what?
based on we used like it used to be better. There used to be a major. We used to be the top producer of steel in the world, and we're not.
When specifically?
I'm pretty sure like 20 years ago, even.
It was during World War II
No, we kept that number pretty long time.
until the 70s. And after like 80s, 90s, we weren't.
Yeah, when companies started moving away to other countries because it was cheaper.
Yeah, and what's the issue with countries going to another country, like companies going to another country? Why do you dislike this?
Uh,
Let me ask you a better question. Why should the US be the number one steel manufacturer in the world? Why does that matter?
well, it doesn't, but it's just better. It's better economically for the
Why?
country. Major industries.
Why?
One, more jobs for people, better paying jobs for people, better flow of money, right?
Okay. Okay. One, we can create jobs in other sectors. We don't need to be the number one steel manufacturer to create jobs.
No, but then you gotta import everything. Why not have major industries where you don't have to import everything?
Because we don't have A, we don't have the infrastructure. B, we don't have the
We did have
manpower.
the
No, we don't.
I said we did. We don't anymore because
We
everyone
didn't have
left.
the infra. No, we didn't have the. We don't and didn't have the infrastructure to handle steel on the level it would need today. No, we've never had that
We
infrastructure.
just build the infrastructure and give people infrastructure jobs.
Okay, great. How long would it take to onshore manufacturing in the US to the point where we no longer need to rely on importing goods from other countries?
Probably only a couple of years.
10 to 20.
That sounds absolutely preposterous.
It's not. I don't think you realize how much stuff is not made in the US and how much infrastructure we would need to build in order to start doing that.
My
Second
point is that
question.
almost
Hold on.
nothing.
Hold on. Second question. Let's say we onshore everything in the US. Do you think the US as a country could handle the environmental impact it would hit on us to completely focus all manufacturing in one centralized place on the planet?
No, and I'm not like saying everything.
No.
I just think that a lot more should be done in the U.S.,
Such as steel.
such as steel. We should probably increase our steel industry.
hmm
Lumber. We should probably increase our food industry. We import a lot of food.
Well, you know what would have helped us increase our food industry? If Donald
Reason.
Trump hadn't started a trade war with China,
I think a trade war with China
one of
is
our
a good,
largest agricultural partners.
but they're also one of our most like
Why
fear
do we import food?
because it's cheaper.
Mm-mm.
Yes, because you
Nope.
don't have labor costs.
Nope. The reason
Amer-
you import food is because some food doesn't grow here.
Can you tell me what food grows in China that we can't grow here?
Is that
Girl,
is that a joke?
girl, you're for real?
Said it.
What is the main food we import from China?
Do you think everywhere, like across the planet, all can is capable of growing
No, but I think
everything?
America has a diversified enough land areas that you can. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
like you obviously can't grow things in the Middle East to the extent that you could in America.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let's say I want to eat like a real basic meal, but I want like a nice, maybe like a grain, or maybe not a grain, but a starch, maybe not a starch, but I
Rice.
want a nice base to that
Oh,
meal.
rice.
Maybe I'm eating chicken. What might I put that chicken on?
Rice. We can grow
And where does
rice
90% of rice in the planet, where does 90% of the rice on the planet grow?
in China.
In Asia.
Yeah, in Asia. We can build rice farms just fine.
And put them where?
You can build them
Same place we're
somewhere.
going to put all these manufacturing plants.
No, obviously not. But you can build a rice farm and grow rice.
Is there a reason you think rice might be more plentiful in a different part of the world?
Uh, Not necessarily. I mean, I could make
No.
different up in my head.
Could it be that the Asian continent might be more sustainable when it comes to growing a certain crop because of differences in climate,
What differences does Asia have in its climate that would lead to better rice growth?
humidity, wetness? It rains more in Asia.
Girl, not
Rice
only
is a crop oh, go ahead, Katie.
just not only that, the space thing alone, dude. When you're looking at everything, like all of the different things that are grown in different places, how are you going to build farms for all of these things and be able to produce them at the rate consumers want them?
We already have farms for most things.
Girl,
Food products.
most you don't even know what most things are.
Most food products that people eat in America, we have farms for.
Devon, I don't know how to help this man. I know this man has never cooked a dish in his life.
I think I'm a pretty good cook.
Do you know what food like what like
We
Do you know what
import almost
foods we
everything.
import?
We import almost everything
Yep. And do you know why?
because it's cheaper to import.
No, because it grows more over there.
You
Yeah,
don't have to
because
pay
they
labor tax.
already have the farms. They're already
These
producing
countries don't
enough.
have minimum wage. You pay them a
What?
dollar. You pay them $1 an hour to farm rice all day, and then you buy the rice from them for far cheaper than it would be to pay somebody $10 an hour to farm rice. It's far cheaper to import it because of labor
What
costs.
is that thing that just happened in America with a bunch of jobs, Jovan? Like, I'm not from over there. So like just remind me again what was happening with like a lot of jobs in America.
Do you mean when people were getting removed from their jobs
Mm. Hmm.
because of ICE raids
Right.
done by this
You
man?
mean the labor people? The people who were here for cheap labor and
Brian,
nothing
let me
more?
ask you a
Wait,
question. Let
wait,
me ask you a question.
they were here for cheap labor?
Yeah.
So
They were
they
used for cheap.
were so
They
they
didn't.
were cheap, but they were doing what jobs?
Most of them were doing like roofing jobs or landscaping jobs.
Oh no.
Okay,
I'm not even
Brian.
from
Brian,
there.
let me ask you a question. Where are we going to get our avocados if we tariff everybody?
Avocados.
Yeah, where
We
do
can,
avocados grow mostly?
we can grow avocados.
Do you know how long it
We can't grow
takes?
bananas
Do you know how
either.
long it takes to like actively cultivate avocado? Or let me rephrase that. Do you know why avocados in Mexico are so good?
No, I do not.
Because they've been cultivating this plant for 7,000 years.
Yeah, but the
Do
whole
you have 7,000 years to make a good avocado?
no, we can make avocados just fine
Oh, we can. Why don't we?
because it's cheaper to not have to
It's
pay.
actually not that. It's actually not that cheap to import avocados. It's actually pretty expensive.
All right, all right. Okay.
Brian, how come you? How come? Let me ask you a question. When I build a worldview, what I like to do is take evidence, as much as I can gather, and shape my worldview around what the evidence says. Why do you
I
do
have,
the opposite?
I have to drop real quick. I might be able to come back up, but I got to drop
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
I would gladly answer your question, but my son is waking up.
Got it.
All right. You have a nice night.
You too.
Wait until he hears about spices.